The W-Class tram is probably the most internationally recognised symbol of Melbourne.
Melbourne's trams are a wonderful symbol of our city.
I think there was something charming about the W-Class that still remains.
I spent my whole working life, 44 years, 7 months, 11 days, working on Melbourne's trams.
My name's Peter Bruce and I was a trammie, a driver from the end of 1967 to January 1977. I like the movement, I like being out and about, the sounds and the sights. It was a fun job. Didn't have to have a driver's licence, and I didn't have one. In the summertime I'd have both these doors open, this window open, no blinds, so the centre of the car would be open. And no one fell out. It was so much a huge part of your life and an interesting part of your life.
So behind us is an old W-Class tram which we got from Yarra Trams, and it's home base for the small group of students that come out of their normal classes. The tram is a very visible symbol of the hands-on learning program.
I had no idea how much it would transform the lives of some really amazing students. We needed a space where students could engage. We set about setting that up basically with kids who really became very passionate about working on, their tram. Hands-on learning is a program in Victorian schools to re-engage students who, for whatever reason, may not be coming to school. Yeah, really amazing young people that were not coming to school, were feeling pretty lonely, and then the tram arrived and faces just lit up. It's about making people connect to something that's really meaningful, and I would never in my wildest dreams have thought it would, be such a meaningful project. I get emotional talking about it because it really has. It's really, really worked.
There's a tremendous sense of pride in seeing the tram again today, a tremendous sense of empowerment, of strength, of being able to reclaim something that I thought was lost. I'm a Yura Yura and Jaja Warang artist, and I'm the son of Lynn Onus, who painted this W-Class tram back in the very early 1990s. And I think I'm right in saying that a lot of this yellow paint I put on when I was only about 10 years old. It was very much an expression of Lynn's regained Aboriginal cultural identity, a wonderful opportunity to show that to the world, to share it and to celebrate it publicly. I remain incredibly inspired by my father, and I think the more people that connect with not just Lynn's tram, but all of these extraordinary trams, the richer we're all going to be.
I had the privilege of painting this tram we're sitting in right now because I wanted to weave a lot of different symbolism in. I chose, quite classic sorts of stories that I knew people would be familiar with. This side was me wanting to make the tram into a kind of a boat, if you like. It is playful, it's meant to be fairly playful. I think there was something charming about the W-Class that still remains, that made them quite exciting for artists to work with. There's a new project about rethinking the use of the artist trams, how to re-celebrate them and reinvent what they are, what they do. These trams do belong to the community.
The Melbourne Tram Museum is a fully volunteer-run organisation. We exist to preserve and to celebrate the engineering, operational and social history of the tramways in Melbourne. This building opened in 1916, is now owned by VicTrack. The W-Class tram is probably the most internationally recognised symbol of Melbourne. It's quite iconic. The first of the W-Class design, number 219, was built and put into service in 1923. Then up until 1956, over 750 of the W-Class design in 12 different variants were constructed. We have some really great examples here in the museum of beautifully restored vehicles. I think it's good to see these trams having a new lease of life and continuing to serve the public in their life after operation.
Bendigo's had a long history in trams. We had trams before Melbourne started their tram service. Our tramway depot has been here since the early 1900s. Our workshops perform maintenance, restoration works and rebuilding of trams for clients around Australia and also around the world. There's a whole range of ways that we can customise the internals of a tram. We've done repurposing work to make them into commercial kitchens, cafes, accommodation. A lot of our older workforce have many rare skills. We have a really good history of bringing on young people. Many of those are apprentices. We want to keep our trams operating in Melbourne and all around the world, the historic trams. We need to retain those rare skills. Something we're very proud of. And when you ride the trams in Melbourne, you're riding a Bendigo Tramways product.
I'm a train enthusiast. I spent my whole working life, 44 years, 7 months, 11 days, working on Melbourne's trams. I lived 65 years on St George's Road, Northcote, so I knew every tram on the line there. Started driving trams in December 1989. Melbourne, it's the biggest city as far as routes are concerned, with 253 kilometres of trackage. I was contacted by a Sydney publisher that wanted to do a book on Melbourne trams. I'd never written a book before. It sold about 6,000 copies. We've all got to be passionate about something in our lives. They got to me as a kid, and some of them have got stories attached to them.
Melbourne's trams are a wonderful symbol of the rich history and heritage that Melbourne and Victoria has, as well as being a very popular tourist icon. There is so many great opportunities now for people to get involved and share with us their ideas about how these trams can repurposed and be reused so the history and the heritage of our tram network can be on display. And it's going to be the next chapter in the ongoing journey of our retired tram fleet.